Hello YouTube, ToFuSmurF here, just providing you some gameplay and analysis on the Tier 8 British, starting with the Caernarvon here, which is the Tier 8 Heavy. Now in these videos, which I'm going to do 5 of them, the Caernarvon and the Centurion Mark 1 will both be pretty much elited. Maybe without one of the radios, but for one of the battles, but that's about it. So anyway, the Caernarvon here, based on things I heard before I played it, was that it was pretty well armored. You know, the gun is pretty much in line with the other British as you grind up, so good rate of fire, decent pen. Accuracy is actually pretty great on this thing. Although at distances the shells will dip, and you'll see that in this video. And this tank is slow, so you're going to see all that in this video. Now in this battle, this port, I don't know what I was doing here, but we got into a pretty high tier battle, a good chunk of tier 10s, decent chunk of tier 9s. So here we are, little Caernarvons as tier 8s in this battle, and spoiler alert, we will probably overperform for tier 8s in this kind of battle. So here we go. So in port, I generally do most of my fighting no matter what side I am on at the 1-2 line. I feel like coming from south, 7-8 gets kind of bogged down, and then from north you have all those train tracks to traverse, and then you basically get stuck in the open for a little bit and are in that little sandy area down there, so it's kind of boring. This IS-7 is oblivious as all hell. I put a shot into him which bounced. LeGuin, my brother, put a shot into him that did damage. So right now we're just using this fence and the freeway to gauge where his turret is facing and just put shots on him when he's not aware.
They're hit.
Like I said, completely unaware of what is going on. Not even facing us, because you know we're clearly lowly tier 8s. I eat a shell from the T-34 just so I can get this shell out on this IS-7, and I shouldn't have broadsided like that. I should have maybe angled myself a little bit better, but you know, either way he was going to get a decent shot on me. I think I bounced a shell there. So again, you see the rate of fire. It's pretty fast. I like the thing 7 seconds, 6 seconds, 8 seconds, somewhere around there. But you know, in the rear of an IS-7, 2 of us, and it's just your chunks of health just going away so quickly. See as how I'm getting 2 shells per shell this T-34 is firing, and with 2 Caernarvons, that's every time that 34 fires, that's 4 shells going into you, doing, you know, about 200 something damage. Here I noticed that their guys are bogged down in the depression, so I try to take some shots on the bridge to help out that flank, because that flank we only have 3 guys there and they have like 5. So I took a shot at the super Pershing. He's a little too hard to hit, so I aim at the Wye Park one just for a bigger target and shooting it aside. Now as you can tell, the penetration reticle, like, it's kind of orange here and there, green on the side, but you know, just trying to make do with what I can, try to put some damage on him as possible, bouncing like hell, or penning, no damage pens. Down here is when he starts looking. While he was turning, my shell actually landed on his cupola. So that was very, very fortunate. I take a shot at this T-54, I miss. This gun actually is pretty accurate on the move because you're not going at high speed, so it's pretty accurate. Here I'm aiming at the lower glacier, the Yagi 100, but I aim a little higher because I know it's going to dip over distance, and it actually hit the lower glacier because I aimed a little higher than normally. So that was really fortunate. But again, another case of a tier 8 versus a tier 10, I mean, not bad. Here I try to flank just to alleviate some of the pressure on my main force, make sure that their guns aren't facing towards my main force. This is going to cost me, but I was hoping that, you know, I could get more damage out. So in this situation I'm fighting a lower health Centurion. We reload about the same rate if I remember correctly, if we got the same gun. So with the same health I should be able to kill him. Which I do. In this instance, their 704 was willing to turn around to hit me. Therefore, like, yeah, I died, but now he's getting pummeled from rear and side because he turned himself. some reason I don't know why I went from post-mortem view gray to color in this replay. I really don't know why. There, LeGuin, my brother, is finishing off tanks. I decide to, I think I switch over my view going to another tank bidder, but again, this is another case of a tier 8 fighting off a tier 9. Granted, with help, of course. We're not saying we soloed everybody, but I mean, 2 Caernarvons in a tier 10, tier 9 battle with tier 8s at the tail end of it, getting 6 kills together is pretty impressive. Now the rest of this video is kind of slow, so I'm going to go fast forward it just so you can get the little bits and pieces of it. IS-7 finishes off Patton. This IS-3 is basically going to get gang raped. And after this, it's just finding art. Zoom! Zoom! Yeah, I don't know why my camera mode is like this. How I went from color back to gray and through buildings and stuff. It's really weird. But their artie's there. So we move on. Alright, now we're on Serene Coast. This time the point of view will be from LeGuin's point of view because I accidentally deleted this replay. This Serene Coast, not a map I particularly enjoy. And honestly, from this south side, I heard statistically it's like 60 something percent win rate from the south compared to, you know, the 40% something from the north. Right here, because people generally default go towards the west hills, mainly those mediums, and their team has 5 mediums, then you add the 4 arty, that's 9 tanks accounted for where they're going to be. So me and my brother decide to charge up the beach, thinking that they're not going to expect it. They're going, you know, to the hill. Some are going to set up in the back of the town, you know. So we just make a run for it. Plus I think this replay is even better from my brother's point of view anyway. So we're charging up beach. We try to stay low as we can in the depression, see as how the land kind of bends a little bit. So we're staying low. Our team is following because who knows, just a stroke of luck that people actually do something. But this only works if you can get a good chunk of your team to go. Some to delay town so that some tanks can slip through. Normally you see light tanks pulling the shenanigans. So us in really, really slow Caernarvons just charged up beach in Serene Coast, and here we are, unopposed, fighting nothing but artillery.
We nailed it back.
Now all we have is this Type 59 to oppose us, and really, I mean, what is he going to do against 2 Caernarvons? With the rate of fire, we can keep him permatracked. Chinese tanks don't really have that great depression. We reload fast enough so that we can keep him permatracked.
Enemy is hit.
Morbid was that artillery shell, I believe, that landed just now. Here we are, that's a dead Type 59 without even a chance to fight back because of our fast reload and whatnot. So now this M12's in an awkward situation.
That's gotta hurt.
The depression on these tanks aren't that bad at all, really. I actually kind of like it. It's a good mix. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either. I believe Jeremy just ate the M12 hit in the gun, but we'll see.
One of our tracks was hit.
So here we are, 2 Caernarvons against another Type 59. Nothing he could really do. Our rate of fire is too good, you know, and whatnot.
They're hit.
And he's tracked right there. So as you can see, we cleaned up on their artillery. Their team is just in nice shot. Is just in a mess right now because now instead of focusing on advanced deployment and map control, they have to come back because these 2 Caernarvons are sitting in their base. And you know, it's really, I don't fault them for making this decision, but you know, not having enough in town there really kind of fucks things up a little bit. So it's just the 2 of us here. We're just trying to stay alive long enough, give Morbid some shots in his S51.
Penetration.
I'm using the corpse of the RD to keep myself safe here.
They're hit.
Again, as you can see, this rate of fire is just great. And you can peek out fire, peek back. Morbid! And that's a dead T21. As you can see, this maneuver really paid off. And I'm not going to guys, I'm not gonna say do this every time, but it's something worth doing, considering what payout is. Again, this is what happens when people predetermine what they should do on these maps, like a lot of people going up to those hills. So, this is a way to punish it. And, with Caernarvons, we don't have long reloads, therefore, if we did manage to get into just arty only, there's a high chance that we can get rid of all of them without getting, taking any damage, really. Because, like I said, the reload's just amazing, and the gun is kind of like a laser when it's not, shooting across the map, so.
That one bounced.
On to the next one! Now this is the last Caernarvon video. This is on Wye Park, a map I really enjoy because of how much it tests you on being able to stay cognizant of multiple flanks, and it's a small map, so it's pretty hectic. It's really a map I find fun playing if you're in anything besides artillery, because that can be a little rough. This priest started the game by saying he was going to charge across, so at least he's not a liar. But that's kind of foolish, so don't do that, guys, please. So the first thing we want to do is gain possession of these tracks. The moment you leave these tracks open, the more it becomes hell. From here you can, aim different flanks and whatnot, which is what I'm doing right here.
We nailed it back.
Hitting anyone that's foolish enough to peek. I believe LeGuin just hit SU-122-44. Sorry, not LeGuin, Huey did. Because Huey's back there in his JT-88, which he dearly loves. I completely whiff a shot there. God damn it. I probably hit the little barriers that's sitting on that, it's like a bridge over the tunnel, and it has like these little, not fences, but like low walls, I would say.
Enemy is hit.
So these guys are pulling up, giving me their sides. Pulling up this often is not very good, especially if you're not paying attention to the enemy and where they're looking and whatnot. So, not something you should do, really. Again, you should be using your camera angles to your advantage to be able to see where everyone's looking. Here I've got a rear shot on a PZ-5M10, set him on fire, and his gold fire extinguisher puts it out immediately.
That one bounced.
I don't know why you would spend gold on fire extinguishers like that if you could just be like a little more, if you could pay a little more attention to your fires so that you can put out fires pretty quickly. I get the automatic part is nice,
Looks like
but
that one
spending
went
gold
right
on it
through.
per match, really. So here I'm just getting fatty flanks on everything because they're focused on the tanks in front of them, although the tanks in front of them are lower tier. So I'm just getting side shots, rear shots on everything. And when you have something like this with a Caernarvon and this rate of fire and this gun,
Enemy is hit.
you just stack up damage pretty quickly. Everything that's passing by is getting hit.
Penetration.
First is the KP5, then is the Tiger P, now I have a next avenue of fire. And the Tiger P decided to
They're
reverse.
hit.
And set him on
Enemy
fire!
armor is destroyed.
As Jeremy likes to say, "You're German!" Now here I'm just, trying to finish up this flank. This battle's
Enemy armor is
pretty
destroyed.
much won. I'm taking shells from little bit arty, so I'm not overly concerned. I believe both remaining IS-6s are over on the other side with Huey and LeGuin. These two are the only things here. So, this battle is now in mop-up duty, and I probably should not have accidentally ran into RT like that. Fucking with this reticle is not a good thing. People don't do that to each other. That was my bad.
Penetration.
That is wonderful. No damage penning a tier 4 artillery just makes my day, really.
We didn't
Yeah.
penetrate their armor.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but have you guys been having tougher times penning this IS-6 since it's been buffed? I don't mean penning it traditionally, but like I've been getting a lot of no damage pens against IS-6s recently, and it's kind of really frustrating. Pretty much since they buffed it. I don't know what the buff entails or anything like that. I heard, and so I just couldn't accept.
Enemy is hit.
But they've been a lot tougher for me to get rid of, especially since I don't throw gold really, unless I'm in a VK2801.
Enemy is
And
hit.
here, Type 59, bye-bye. Now this JT88 is basically preparing himself. for the upcoming gang rape. Not going to repeat my mistake and hopefully not bump this guy again, so here it's just about lining up my shot.
He's gone. Find another target.
Now we will move on to the Centurion, which is basically